This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, we're in the same room again.
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that? Mel Allen.
How are you doing?
Tom, I'm all jittery. I had a cold brew in the afternoon.
Oh, that'll do it.
Back on it. And you're drunk.
Yeah, I had a tall boy
Yeah.
beer, and yeah, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I feel pretty drunk right now.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
We got a good energy going. It's high energy.
Yeah, high energy and
Also,
drunk.
when we talk over each other,
Yeah.
when we're doing this
Via-
remotely,
Yeah.
via Zoom, FaceTime.
I
always say
Tim, don't
Zoom.
give them free advertisement.
Yeah, I know, but
We
like,
do it over FaceTime, and I try to look into if that's the best way to do it.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, but who knows what is?
Yeah. Well, we're in
Maybe
the
we
same
should
room.
just both get landlines.
You know what, Tom? I'd love to go back to a world where we relied on the landline.
Yeah.
Tom,
Mm-hmm.
I'm upset with modern life.
Now, is this like Ted Kaczynski style upset with modern life?
No.
Or is this Rocco style upset with modern life?
Rocco is upset with modern life in a way that I can relate to, right?
Okay,
I don't
well,
think I've
that's-
ever seen an episode of Rocco's Modern Life.
What? Really?
Yeah, we were a little too old for that. Right?
Nah. Well, no, I don't think so. That show, that was like kind of like a Ren and Stimpy type
Okay.
thing. It had some more.
Well, the Nicktoons
Right.
launched with 3 shows. Doug, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy. Classics.
Right.
Although I would say, what aged the worst? Probably Ren and Stimpy, right?
Yeah. It was similar. Now that I think about it, it was very similar to like Rugrats, where you could watch if you were a little baby,
Yeah.
but it
Some
had
idiot little baby.
if you were some stupid baby, you could watch it, but it had jokes for older kids. It had
Yeah.
it was one of those shows too that. Yeah, I think if you go on YouTube,
Yeah,
you
there's
can
like
find
dirty stuff.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah. That stuff skeeves me out.
Yeah.
I don't like when it's like, oh, great. Congratulations for sneaking in a 69 joke into something that 4-year-olds are watching.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is more of a Rocco's Modern Life, because like he's like befuddled and confounded by
Yeah,
things.
he can't get used to it.
Tom, I'm walking down the street the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you a little bit of backstory?
Okay. It really paint a picture for us.
There's a hot button issue in my New York City neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say there's a hot buttered popcorn store in my neighborhood.
Well, Tom, sometimes I feel like you hear what you want to hear.
Well,
and I think that
if that were the
explains a
case,
lot.
maybe I'd come over more.
Yeah, exactly. Are you familiar with the New York City Open Streets
Yes,
program?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Basically, the city is shutting down some streets to motor vehicle traffic.
Yeah, they started this 2 years ago now.
Yeah, during
When-
the pandemic. This
when it was-
never-ending pandemic.
When it was, they'd already allowed restaurants to make basically other smaller restaurants in the street.
Yeah.
But part of that was also like, hey, we don't want people gathering around indoors, so we're gonna block off some streets on certain days or whatever,
Right.
And people can just hang out. It's kind of like a awful park.
Yeah. But also, near my house, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the main thoroughfare to the park for pedestrians.
Okay.
So, like, they blocked off, I think, 5 or 6 blocks of this street.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a major street. It's like, for pedestrians it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it pedestrian friendly. They blocked it off to cars. You can move the barriers and park on the street if you need to, like just like go 5 miles an hour in a car.
Oh, you
drive to-
can do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
and like
I didn't know
deliveries
that.
can go there.
Mm-hmm.
But like they've put in big planters and they put in signs and they put in barricades that are movable and they painted the road and it's like a thing.
Yeah.
But some people are like angry about it, like people who own cars. I own a car. I'm not
Yeah.
angry about it, but I
Yeah.
also have a kid and I like to walk to the park.
Yeah. I own a car. I'm not angry about it.
Exactly. It's fine. Everybody calm down. But I'm walking down the street the other day, pushing my son my 4-month-old
Tim,
son
you don't
in a
have to
stroller.
push him. Oh, he's in a
yeah,
stroller.
No. He doesn't walk yet. He's 4 months old, Tom.
Okay, well, that's why I was like, well, pushing him to try and make him walk isn't going to work.
No, misunderstanding on your part, but I understand why. But because I would push a baby, just not my own baby.
Yeah. Come on, walk.
Walk already. But now I understand that's not appropriate.
That's not the way it works. He's going to learn in his own time.
As a father of a baby, now I understand it's not appropriate to push babies down onto the ground.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty pathetic that it took you becoming a father to understand that.
I don't disagree, Tom.
But you know what?
Disagree.
The result's the same. I'm just glad you're not out there doing it anymore.
So I'm walking down the street, and actually, I should be able to walk in the middle of the street, just, going to and fro with the stroller.
Yeah. For the listener, Tim is miming doing like figure eights with the
Yeah,
stroller.
just kind of like slaloming, kind of.
Yeah.
Because I should have the whole street.
Right.
But this was a particular block where I know, like, sometimes drivers just come, like, move the barricade and come down here faster than they're supposed to and use it as a through street.
Yeah.
Which, like, defeats the whole purpose of this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not using it now. Like, why are we doing this? And sure enough, I'm walking on the sidewalk, and a guy pulls up in a car going really fast, and he, like, screeches to a halt.
Mm-hmm.
And he rolls down his window. He's like, hey, to me.
Yeah.
Just a guy in the middle of the afternoon walking on the sidewalk, pushing his 4-month-old son in a stroller. And he's like, y'all really think you own this street, huh? And I was like, what? He's like, with the barricades and the signs and the planters. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's an open street. You're not supposed to be driving on it. But, he's like, yeah, I know I'm not supposed to be driving on it. Because you fuckers think you own the street. I was like, yeah, again, I'm walking on the sidewalk. The city put these streets up.
Is your point that you own the street?
And the thing is, like, I wanted to go into, like, technically we all own the street, right?
Yeah.
And, like, we all kind of don't own the street. Like, we
Yeah.
pay taxes and we elect people to decide what to be done with the street. Whatever. But I was like, I don't know, man. Like, you're driving on it. It's fine. He's
Was
like,
it one of these Canadian truckers, Tim?
it might as well have been. Yes, like, go back to Canada, you Canuck.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You can't throw that term around.
But so I was like, well, I don't know. The city put this up. He's like, no, they didn't. It was you guys. I was like,
It was you.
and I was like, you thought
It was you, Tim.
I was like, I didn't buy these barricades and put up you think, like, the neighbors?
What was he driving? He was driving a truck. Was it like a delivery guy or
No,
what?
he was just an asshole in an SUV.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, why was he going? Why did he care? I could see if it was like, I'm a delivery guy. I got so many deliveries to make every day. There's a real pain in my ass.
That's actually better for delivery guys because they can just pull the barricade up and just park in the middle of the street for a few minutes.
That's
and, like,
true,
nobody
yeah.
cares. Like,
Yeah,
it's
they
fine.
kind of do that everywhere anyway.
Yeah, but, like, they're not going to come back to, like, cars honking and, like,
yeah, and a ticket on the windshield or anything like that.
exactly. But he pulled over and he was like telling me why it shouldn't be an open
over.
street. Yeah, this guy, he
Wow,
pulled over and he
alright.
was like engaged. I was literally just walking down the sidewalk and I just wanted to be like, dude, I did not buy this sign and install it. I did not.
Go yell at somebody that doesn't have a baby with them, please.
Exactly. And, like, this is when I was just kind of like, this guy also looked like, oh, maybe he had a weapon on him.
He looked like what?
Maybe he had a weapon on him.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
he was, like, itching for a fight.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't care. I'm gonna keep driving on this any way I want. And it's like, I can tell you're doing it right now.
Right.
And I was just walking down the street, literally minding my own business till you pulled up. Is this where we're at as in American society, right? Where, like, people just force you to listen to their speech about what should happen?
Yeah, when it's like, if that person hadn't stopped you, you would have been like, well, an asshole. But that would have been it.
Yeah, might have. If I didn't have my kid with them, I probably would have given them the finger or something.
Right.
But like, that's what New Yorkers do. Somebody does something they're mad at, like,
Yeah, I mean,
passive aggressively.
everybody's doing shit they're not supposed to be doing all day. I earlier today I was sitting in my car for an hour and a half when the street sweeper comes. The street sweeper couldn't sweep where I was because I was sitting there. And, like, meanwhile, I live next to a supermarket. And there are just, like, deliveries happening like crazy. It's mayhem. At one point, there were multiple trucks double parked, and literally 2 student driver cars doing 3-point turns.
Jesus Christ.
Both of them.
Are you even allowed to do a 3-point turn in New York City?
Yeah, I don't know.
I do it all the time, but you're not supposed to do anything, right? You're supposed to just drive the one way that you're supposed to drive.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I live on like a double.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can, I guess. But it's like a bad idea. I actually almost, I didn't mention this. I almost got in like a bad, not a bad accident, but like a crazy accident recently because I put on my left turn signal because there was a spot and I was going to make a U-turn / 3-point turn to get it.
Right.
And when I put on my left turn signal, the person behind me got mad and decided to go past me by going to the left.
At like triple speed?
Yeah.
It's like when somebody gets mad at somebody not going at when a red light turns green and they turn and they just like gun it through the intersection. It's like, who are you? Like, what are you so mad at? Like, you're putting pedestrians at risk up there.
Yeah, I swear. I thought I don't understand how we didn't hit. We were like an inch from each other.
It's
And
a near miss, Tom. Is what
it was. And she's yelling at me. I'm yelling at her. I'm like, what are you doing? I have my left turn signal on. And you're like, I'll pass him on his left. And like, I was doing like I don't know, like a normal speed turn, like not super quick, because I didn't want that to happen. I wanted everybody behind me to be aware, like he's making a left here. And it wasn't actually even I was turning like into a driveway to do it.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, no, there's a driveway there. What the fuck? Don't do that. So I yelled at her that she was a dumb asshole.
That's great. You gotta keep it simple.
That's what, I was very proud because my girlfriend was like, you called her a dumb asshole. I like that. I'm glad like you didn't say something awful to her.
Yeah, no, you don't need it to be like specific to like
to anything about them other than you're just a dumb asshole.
But is this like
Mm-hmm.
is this a function of like the debate me culture where like it's like, oh, you're gonna have to hear my point of view, and hey, guy pushing a baby stroller, tell me why this should be an open street, and I'll out logic you. And it's like I don't care to do this.
Yeah,
like,
and and probably your thing is like, and if tomorrow they were like those aren't open streets anymore, you would be bummed, but you would be like, all right, I'll start following those rules. Like you're just following rules. You're just like, doing what you're able to do.
If I'm jaywalking in New York, which I frequently do, not with my 4-month-old baby,
right?
But like, should I also flag down a car and be like, it's bullshit that they want me to walk all the way to the corner and cross when the light is red? It's like, no, I'm going to, if you're going to break the law, just break the law and have some goddamn dignity. Don't make me like hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's New York. Everybody's breaking laws all the time.
Fine.
And
everybody's looking the other way.
themselves.
Yeah, the cops certainly aren't doing anything about people breaking the law, so what am I going to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the
Maybe
thing.
if I was wearing one of those red berets and the red
if you were a guardian angel?
Yeah, then you're going to have to plead your case to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing about New York City. It's like nobody really complains about the laws because, like, if you don't like the law, just don't abide by it.
Yeah, and guess what? Like, people be like pissed at you and be like, ugh, as you're doing it, but like,
right,
it's fine.
Honestly,
and then you just go about your day. It's great.
If it's a law that isn't like affecting other people, no, everybody's just gonna keep to themselves. If it's like a law and you're cutting the line or something, yeah, then people are gonna be pissed. But like, I don't know, if people hop the turnstile, I'm not like, so I have to pay, but you think you don't have to pay? No, mind your own business. Who cares?
One time on the subway, Tom, it was really crowded.
Yeah.
And you know how people will stand in front of the door and then like knock it out of the way at a stop?
Yeah, the worst people.
Yeah, and they're the worst people. And like a guy did that and I was getting out. It's like a guy my age.
Yeah.
Like similar, like wuss. Like I knew he wasn't going to fight me. And so like I like put my backpack on as I was going out the door and like hit him with the backpack.
Yeah.
And he got pissed and he shoved me out the door. And then like we were both, I think, satisfied with that outcome. And it was like, all right, that's what we did. Like, he was breaking some rule.
Oh, yeah,
and
there's
I
plenty of, like, passive-aggressive
yeah,
things
exactly. This guy should have come flying down the street.
Yeah.
And I should have, like, given him the finger and said, F you, and he would have been like,
and then
sucker.
You both
And
go
then-
about your day.
Yeah, it's fine. Why don't you stop trying to debate me about things? Get a fucking podcast and complain about me there.
Tim, last week we caught a little bit of flack for,
to put it mildly, Tom.
for doing a boring topic. Well, luckily already we're 15 minutes in. People have heard you complain about a man yelling at you.
Give it to his high energy.
So already people are probably like, great. No, people like the energy. People even said, they were like, I like how enthusiastic Tom is about batteries, but you know, I get it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how enthusiastic I am. It's not going to get somebody else on board. And also, you know, I heard from a lot of other people talking about other types of batteries that I didn't cover.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't please everyone.
I mean,
I guess I'm just going to have to start a spin-off batteries podcast.
I mean, that's fine. I won't be a part of it. And like, you
Tim,
displeased
I'd like
a lot
you to
more
be
people
the
than you
executive
pleased.
producer.
It'll be an Alan Smithy joint. Tom, again, I think I agree with people. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but God, I worry that you damaged your credibility with the audience.
No, I haven't. You think I've damaged my credibility just over that?
You were the guy, or at least you were the self-styled guy. Like, oh, I'm into
I
cool
was the
stuff.
exciting one.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
and you were like the
more intellectual. I was the brains,
like,
the
boring
smart
schlub that nobody
the
liked.
guy that like was clever
That was
and
just like, oh god, this guy's here.
interesting, and then
And now we're
you're
gonna
there
have to
bringing
listen to
the
his
bombast.
opinions.
Anyway, who's editing this week, Miria?
Me.
Okay, cut this part out. I am legitimately like, I wrote an intro for this. Do you want to read it? It's got like a lot of good information.
what do you mean?
I wrote an introduction skydiving. I wrote an introduction.
Read it.
So people will be like, "Oh, Tom's back. He knows about a cool subject."
Oh, you want me to read it? I thought you were saying like read it in, like just read it to myself now. Like you.
No. I was gonna read it. I was gonna be like, okay, all right. I'll introduce the topic.
Okay.
But since it's a cool topic,
Oh,
figured-
you think I should read it?
and then people will be like, oh, Tom's not just all about batteries. He's also about cool stuff like skydiving.
I mean, I don't think it's necessary, but yeah, sure, I'll do it.
I mean, I can do it.
No, I'll do it. If
All
you
right.
think if you think it's gonna make people think I'm cool again, then I'll do it.
Here, open up Slack. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Tim, I always got Slack open.
And all right, this week we're gonna come back from all that battery nonsense, and we're gonna do a cool topic. You actually suggested it, and I think you have a little intro prepared.
Yeah, I do.
So, like, if go ahead, introduce the topic.
Okay. Skydiving, also known as cloud surfing. Also known as cloud surfing. We're surfing the net. It's been around for thousands of years. But first captured the attention of the average American through a major cultural event. The episode of Full House where Uncle Jesse and comedian Joey Gladstone decide to skydive on the eve of Jesse's wedding and wind up getting their parachutes caught up in some tree branches.
Tom, this sounds really off the cuff.
Yeah, it's just I'm remembering this stuff as I talk. Since then, millions of daredevils every year have risked life and limb by jumping out of a plane from hundreds of thousands of feet in the air to feel a rush like they've never felt before, or to simply do one last exciting thing before finally settling down with Aunt Becky. Skydiving can be dangerous, and it's recommended that you complete a safety course before your first excursion and jump in tandem with an experienced skydiver so you can ensure you will return safely home to your long-haired twin boys, Nikki and Alex.
That's a good informative intro, Tom. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it was just the first thing that came to my mind when I was thinking about skydiving.
It wasn't the cleanest read.
It wasn't a read. It was off the top of my head.
Yeah, maybe we'll go back and re-record some of that.
I mean, this is probably very confusing. Skydiving, Tim, an exciting topic after what some might say a little dry topic of batteries, which funny enough, there is the idea of a dry battery, which
we're not talking. Save it for the
for the episode about dry batteries.
Exactly. Next week.
Tim, have you ever been skydiving?
No.
Of course not. You're a coward.
Have you?
No.
Would you ever?
It's one of those things where I would really like to, but I don't want to die skydiving.
I mean,
it's one of those things.
The death rate is exceedingly low, right?
It's not exceedingly low. I looked it up. Apparently, I mean, it's pretty low. 3.1 million skydives occur annually. Out of this, the average number of fatalities is 55.
Right.
Which is less than 1%.
Right.
I mean, it's much less than 1%. I don't know why they were like, oh, it's less than 1%.
Yeah, like 1% is the lowest they can go.
If this was like, 1 in 110 people die skydiving, that's less than 1%.
I'm getting a lot of information from the United States Parachute Association, the USPA. And in 2020, the last
year that parachuting was allowed.
Exactly. There are an estimated 2.8 million jumps and 11 fatalities. So that's 0.39 fatalities per 100,000 jumps.
Okay, yeah, so pretty safe.
Yeah.
I
feel like I'm used to like tables showing deaths per 100,000 people these days. I look at those tables every morning to decide what I'm going to do that day.
I actually have, and I got to use this. 2 Christmases ago, Christmas or birthday, I forget. My brother got me a gift certificate to indoor skydiving.
That I would do.
Yeah.
I'll go with you.
There's no, there's some, you could hurt yourself, but you can't kill yourself.
You could hurt yourself getting out of the dang bathtub, Tom.
Yeah, there's like the same.
I don't take baths.
There's the same level of danger, I feel like, as like going to a roller rink.
Right.
Where it's like, you could break your arm if you like do something stupid.
I think it's probably safer than a roller rink.
Yeah, probably.
Because there's no menacing teens there.
Well, I haven't been there yet. For all I know, there are. For all I know, in the 2020s, this is...
Ooh, this is the modern day.
Yeah, modern day. Maybe
on TikTok, they're like, "Hey, teens, go to the
local indoor
the fan skydiving place and make millennials nervous."
I was gonna say I should call ahead and ask if they have an arcade there, so I'll know if teens will be there or not. But then it's like, but if there's an arcade there, then I want to go even more.
Yeah. Guess what, Tom? Teens aren't going to arcades.
Yeah, they're going to. I don't know where they're
bars. No, they don't vape, right?
No, I think they're just sitting at home and looking at TikTok.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Teens confuse me, and that's fine.
Yeah, they're not meant for you to understand.
But in 13 years, I'm gonna have to know.
Yeah, you're going to have a teen of your
baby
own.
That's going to turn into a teen.
Yeah, less than 13 years.
Yeah.
12 years, 8 months, you're going to have a teen.
Oh, Jesus Christ, the clock is ticking.
Yeah, think about where you were 12 years ago. And if then you had a future teen.
Where was I 12 years ago? 2010.
You were living with me.
Yeah.
we were on Collier Street together.
Yeah. Had a nice backyard full of feral cats.
Yeah.
It smelled like piss out there.
Yeah, you could have had your teen playing in that backyard right now if we had stayed there.
Well, if time runs backwards from now, then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
But yeah,
I get older, but the years go back.
All right. Are you just explaining a Benjamin Buttons but for everything situation?
I guess.
Yeah, I have a gift card for this to go with my brother. But it's in Yonkers.
There's nothing wrong with yonkers,
Yeah,
Tom.
I don't know. Isn't there? Doesn't it sound funny? Yonkers.
Yeah, it's funny. Sounds like honkers.
Well, if it was, maybe we'll go to Honkers afterwards. get a couple of beers. But yeah, I keep forgetting about it, and it's like one of those things where it's like, I have to figure that out and do that.
Yeah.
Because I think it was after I had gotten him maybe for Christmas or his birthday, like a gift certificate, or I just like booked us both to go to a shooting range together. And that was a lot of fun. Not shoot each other, shoot at the targets.
shoot at the people they hire to get shot at.
Yeah, no, it's just targets. And I was very good at it. And like the weird guys that hang out in basement shooting ranges were like, you're pretty good. Those are some pretty good shots. And my brother was like, yeah, he's a liberal from Brooklyn.
Oh God.
Yeah.
They follow you out to your car.
No, I put the muzzle up to his head. I said, "Guess where the next bullet's going?"
Oh,
pal?"
wow.
Yeah, he was like, "Ooh," he pissed
That's
himself.
a good thing to do at a shooting range. We went to a shooting range one time, a bunch of us on Thanksgiving Eve, was it, one year?
Yeah, like a bunch of us were home.
And some of us had been drinking.
Yeah, we were. It was. I think everybody was aiming for like, let's have like 2 beers. So we're not nervous about shooting guns.
Yeah.
And I think we had more than 2 beers. And then we weren't nervous about shooting guns.
Our friend Dan, of the show, Dan Deacon, was there. And this is all I was thinking about the whole time. A few years before this, we went and played paintball with a bunch of people. And Dan came, and after all of the speeches, it was the first time any of us had been playing, or a lot of us had been playing paintball. There's so many speeches about like, do not shoot anybody at close range. Like, if you seriously, you can seriously hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And the first thing Dan did was come up to me, put the gun 3 inches from my crotch, and shot me right in the crotch. And laughed about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is funny.
Yeah. And then I had some drinks, and Dan had some drinks, and I was like, let's go to a real shooting range together a couple years later. Why would I do that?
I don't know.
And the whole time I was like, Dan is just going to shoot me through the heart, isn't he? As a bit. A bit.
Well, I also remember when we were there, they like started giving us a safety speech, and they were like, any of you ever shoot guns before? And our friend Matt was like, I'm in the Air Force. And the guy was like, oh, he'll tell you what to do. And he just went behind the counter.
And Matt was the one that like he should have worried about the most.
Yeah. I think he had like just joined the Air Force too, like earlier that fall. But it wound up all right. Nobody got too hurt. Nobody got hurt at all.
Nobody got hurt at all.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at a shooting range, it's like a very, very minor injury. Like you burn yourself on something, on like a part of the gun you're not supposed to touch, or it's like, you got shot.
Yeah,
or a bullet casing. You could, if you don't have goggles on.
Yeah. I remember you had a shotgun?
No, I think there was like somebody had a shot. Oh, maybe I did bring a shotgun.
No, you didn't bring. Oh. Interesting. No, you brought a 3D printed gun that you made yourself. No, somebody got like a big kahuna and let me shoot it, and I bruised my arm so bad from it that I mean, I am anti-gun to the point where like
we were
I
all
think they
shooting
should
like 9mm rifles,
confiscate
like very
every
small.
single gun, even like sport hunting stuff.
Even light guns, like for Nintendo.
Yeah, Duck
Hunt
Hunt sucked. Everybody who was good at that game cheated. You just went up to the screen.
Well, but then you could see they were cheating, and you were like, they're not good at it. What are you talking about? Are you talking about like world records?
Tom, you mentioned that you knew I didn't go skydiving because I'm a coward.
Yeah.
Do you think it's brave to skydive?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I don't know what's brave nowadays. But
you know what's brave?
What? Oh God!
Living your life, dancing like nobody's watching.
But I think it's I don't know. It takes something to do it. Not everybody wants to do it. Not everybody could do it. I want to know when they changed skydiving from parachuting.
It's synonyms, Tom, because
Yeah,
you
but-
know you
but at
got
some-
the USPA.
At some point, a marketing company was like, parachuting.
Skydiving is so
Yeah,
cool. And what did you say? It was also known as
skydiving?
surfing the net.
Yeah, surfing the clouds or surfing the net.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Although I was thinking about
Uncle Jesse.
sky surfing seems to have gone away. Remember that was a thing for a little bit?
It was like snowboarding.
Yeah, it was just strap a snowboard onto your legs. And that was one of those things where like the first time I saw it, I was like, whoa, cool. And then afterwards I was like, I don't know. I think it's fine.
You don't need to add like, oh, he's got a board up there. It's like, no, you're hurtling towards
Yeah,
the earth
it's
at 100
basically
miles an
just
hour.
like-
It's cool.
like,
Whatever.
look, this guy's two legs are not tied together, but like shackled together.
And I think that probably makes it harder, but like, I
But
don't
in
know.
ways I'm not familiar with.
Also,
And-
like, it's cool. Like, people do like cool
yeah.
tricks up there.
Mhm.
I'm not any more or less impressed with anybody does anything anybody does while
Yeah,
skydiving. It's like
skydiving's-
you jumped out of a plane from hundreds of feet in the air.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Skydiving is one of those, it's not hundreds of feet. It's also not hundreds of thousands of feet, as I said earlier.
Yeah, you got it wrong.
Um,
I was trying to correct.
but I think also skydiving is one of those things where like I kind of feel bad for like professional skydivers, really good skydivers,
They got it
because
made.
because
They're millionaires.
because
In endorsement deals alone, they got more money than they know what to do with.
because I think the general public and even like people who have been skydiving maybe a handful of times don't have like no grasp on how hard or easy anything is.
Right.
So when I see people sky surfing and doing like crazy flips and stuff, I'm like, that's cool. I bet I could do that. I should go skydiving.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, why? He doesn't have to land on his feet. He just has to flip backwards.
Yeah.
And there's no danger in that.
And
That's
then
the only
the
reason I
parachute
can't.
opens and you're fine.
Yeah, the only reason I can't do backflips is because I'm worried about the ground.
Yeah. The only
But if-
reason I can't do backflips is because I'm not hundreds of feet off the ground.
Exactly.
Or what did you say? Hundreds of thousands of feet off
Hundreds
the
of
ground?
thousands of feet. So that's why I think like professional skydivers now wingsuits. Well, we'll get it to
Yeah.
wingsuits later.
Let's pace ourselves, Tom.
Tim, I want to talk about some skydiving facts. We got to get into the facts here a little bit. Because some of these things are legitimately, they aren't just things I found on Wikipedia. They were like actual questions that I had about things. And the first was like, when did the first dude skydive? And the answer,
Ooh, a long time ago. A longer than you think.
1783. And it's like, wait a minute, when did they invent airplanes? But he wasn't doing it from an airplane. He's doing it from a hot air balloon. And that guy had, but that was like a weird parachute with like a rigid frame. And then the first frame.
I mean, how would you know that, like,
that you don't need a frame?
You would just be
yeah.
like, it's like an umbrella. He was like, I saw Mary Poppins. I'll
Right.
come in like Mary Poppins.
But also, it's like people are doing this, and it took them another like 130 years to figure out airplanes. Come on, you were 3/4 of the way there. But it was 1797. Somebody did it with a frameless parachute. He tests his contraption by leaping from a hydrogen balloon 3,200 feet above Paris. These guys. Paris was, people were doing crazy air experiments. I've told you about the guy with the wingsuit that jumped off the Eiffel Tower, and there's just this like very old film of just a guy falling to his death.
Why would people do this? And like David Blaine,
Yeah.
he went up in that hot air balloon. What did he do? What was Ascension all about?
He went up in, it was like a bunch of balloons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't let him do that over like New York City, right?
No,
That's what he
no,
wanted
he was
to
in
do.
the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was going to do it off Liberty Island maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
But they, last minute they were like, no, you can't do that. What if you fall and
You're
kill somebody?
walking in Midtown and David Blaine like
Splats
splatters
in front of you. Yeah. I mean, back then, I'm sure Paris, well, I'm not sure. I know Paris was not as densely populated as it is now.
You don't know that.
But also, I think the Eiffel Tower.
Detroit used to be a lot more densely
That's
populated,
true.
and now it's less. So,
I think people just saw the Eiffel Tower and they were like, I got to try that. Man, this guy.
I gotta get a load of this Eiffel Tower.
Have you watched this film of this guy just jumping off the Eiffel Tower?
No,
in this suit?
and you've also tried to send me Faces of Death numerous times. I'm
No,
not
I
interested
mean,
in watching.
It's like so old and black and white that there's like nothing disgusting about it. But it's got one of those like, oh, now Jean-Pierre trying to break the record. Oh, better luck next time, Jean. As he like craters into the earth. But he's just wearing, it looks like he just put on like, I don't know, just like sewed a bunch of pillows together and was like, well,
Did that save him?
No, pillowcases.
Oh. Yeah, no. Put the pillows in there, John.
I don't know. It looked like, it was kind of like a wingsuit. He kind of had the right idea, but then he jumped like feet first. And it's like, well, the air can't catch all that now. And that's why you made like a 3-foot crater under the Eiffel Tower. But 1970s is when it became popular due to a quick release system of the main parachute based on the 3 rings designed by Bill Booth.
Bilbo Baggins
that allows anyone
and his
to use
rings. His famous ring.
I mean, the funny thing is that it sounds like, I mean, it happened before this in the 70s, I think. But here it is. The first intentional free fall jump with a ripcord operated deployment was not made until over a century later by Leslie Irvin in 1919. Because before it was like, well, I'm going to hold the parachute and I'm going to throw it when I jump or whatever. The idea of like,
they didn't have backpacks back then?
Yeah, the idea of like deploying a parachute was not what anybody was thinking about.
I can see how that,
rightfully so. Like, get the basics down. Get a parachute to work before you start thinking about, maybe I can put it in a backpack and then just, fall to the earth.
Have you? Well, I don't want to jump ahead, but have you seen the technology that's come out in like the last couple of years?
The like jet packs and stuff?
No, I'm just talking about like the safety stuff that will like it'll deploy automatically. So if you like pass out.
I think that's been the like altimeter deployments. I think have been around for a while.
Okay, well,
I'm talking about. I watched a video with a guy who strapped a BMW made jet onto his chest, and he had a
blew a hole in
wingsuit.
his chest.
No, he had it pointing towards his head, so it was fine. But he had like a wingsuit and was like flying or zooming around on that thing. It was pretty neat.
Like the Rocketeer?
Like the Rocketeer, but the rocket on his chest. And it was interesting because they were like,
Did he blow his wiener off?
He didn't blow his wiener off. It was like a turbine jet.
Cooked
yeah, he did have a flambéed wiener. Flambéed wiener. But it was a price he was willing to pay.
All right. You know what? It's not a terrible trade-off.
No, and he got to fly.
Put it on your back next time.
Well, it sounds like everybody was like, no, of course it's going to be cool to put it on your back. But putting it on your chest gave them like much more control over it, which makes
like
a lot
Superman.
of sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whereas when it was on their back, they couldn't really control it.
Yeah.
So that's a shame. Maybe they'll figure that out someday.
Not getting your wiener blown off.
Not getting your wiener blown off or flambéed. I think... I mean, they probably wouldn't do it in our time, though. Like, even now... It's
sad to think, huh?
Yeah. Well, but even now with the wingsuits, it's like you can't start wingsuit training until I think you've had at least 200 jumps. And even that...
In skydiving, 100 jumps is nothing.
I know.
Tom, if you make 100 jumps, you're a piece of shit. As far as a professional skydiver.
Well, you're not a piece of shit, Tim. I think it's just like you're just starting out.
Like, get out of here. I'd rather you be dead than doing a jump from the same plane I'm doing. In fact, I'm going to see to it that you die, and then they switch out your parachute.
It is weird.
That's why skydiving is so dangerous.
No, they make you pack your own parachute, Tim.
Really?
Yeah, so nobody can, I I was going to say so nobody can blame somebody else. I don't think it's that. I think it's just like, look, you want to be real careful. You don't want to trust somebody
But
else.
I don't
You
know
want to
how
trust
to
yourself. Well,
pack
they
a pear.
teach you. They don't have you do it the first time.
You ever watch Top Chef and you go like, oh man, I'd be so bad at this challenge, and you get anxiety, and then you realize I'm not a professional chef. I wouldn't.
I'm not going to put myself in this
Yeah,
situation.
no, I wouldn't make it onto the show.
I'm not going to invite my whole family over and be like, and we're having rack of lamb. And then I'm in the kitchen going, how do I make rack of lamb?
It's probably not that hard, Tom.
Yeah,
they
rack
come
of
in the
lamb's
rack.
not that
yeah.
hard. Yeah. You just got to put the tinfoil on the bones.
Yeah, that's. You watch a couple of YouTube videos, it's fine.
Yeah. But I just find it like kind of, I mean, it makes sense, but like a little depressing that it's like, unless I decide to go like whole hog into skydiving, I'm never going to like fly in a wingsuit. But then when I watch actual wingsuit things, it's like, of course not. That looks incredibly hard.
Yeah.
You ever see the wingsuit video where a guy broke, like he hit his leg? He was like trying to skim something super low. And he like hit his leg.
It's not impressive to skim something. Stop it. You're only going to hurt yourself.
Nah, it's pretty cool to like really skim
Yeah,
something.
but you're like, you got Tom Reynolds watching you on YouTube at 3
Yeah,
in the morning. Congratulations. What an achievement.
Hey, I'm talking about him now. I don't know his name. But there was this guy, and it was like, but even that, it was like, oh man, that looked bad. I wonder if he broke his leg. And then, afterwards, it's like, he shatters like into 5,000 pieces.
His leg was just a bag of shards.
Yeah, just like a bag of jelly and bones.
Ugh.
So yeah. But it makes sense, if you were flying at, I don't know how fast they go, probably a few hundred miles an hour, and you hit something with your leg. If you were driving your car 200 miles an hour and you stuck your leg out and hit a barrier, yeah, it would jellyify your leg.
Yeah. I don't want to have jelly legs, Tom.
No.
That's why I don't skim things when I'm in my flying squirrel suit.
I didn't know this. Now, we all know about...
Something you didn't know. This could be about one
well,
of
do you have anything to talk about?
One of a billion things. I do. I have so many notes.
All right, let's hear something from your notes.
The youngest skydiver, Tom.
4 years old.
4 years old. That's child abuse.
Oh, absolutely. That's child abuse. You can't have a 4-year-old skydive.
And
I mean, it was a tandem skydive, but even still.
Still, I mean...
They have people that tandem skydive with like their dogs and their cats, and it's like, no, fuck that. These animals don't want to do that. They don't understand what's going on.
I mean, maybe they do, but you can't ask them. You can't get their consent.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I've like, yeah, you just don't, what's the best that's going to come out of that? Yeah. Your dog's going to love you more? Your dog already loves you as much as is dogly possible.
As much as humanly possible. Yeah, and it makes sense that the Guinness Book of World Records will verify the oldest skydiver in the world, some 103
yeah, but not the young. They don't want to encourage that.
Hey, bring a baby up there.
Yeah. Guinness Book of World Records, they're not friends of the elderly, I think. They encourage the elderly to do a lot of dangerous things.
I mean,
to get
that's
in their
fine.
butt.
If you reach 103...
Well, so yeah, I was reading about the guy who has, let me find it.
Alfred Blaschke?
Is that the guy who has the most jumps in a day record?
Oh, no. That is Jay Stokes.
Yeah, so he did the most parachute descents in one day at 640, and then he died of cancer like 2 months later or something like that.
Oh, really?
So it's like, oh, this guy was literally like, hey, I'm going to die anyway. Let me try and break a record.
Let me try to die skydiving.
Yeah, and 640 times he failed. No, I think it was, I don't think he was trying to kill him. He might have been trying to kill himself skydiving, but I think he was just like, like.
Once he hit 640 and that's the record or whatever.
Yeah.
Once he hit the record, the next one he should have been like,
and
this
now,
time I don't pull the ripcord.
Nah, because like you don't want to like traumatize everybody else that's like working with you.
I mean, you would love it because you'd be like, hey, this is just like the Eiffel Tower video that I've watched 100 times on a loop.
Dude, imagine watching like a 12-hour video of this guy just skydiving over and over, and then the last time just Doesn't pull the cord off.
Is this-
640 time to do
That's
something.
27 an hour.
Yeah, that's insane. They said he worked it down to like
Also, like staying
3
awake
minutes.
that long.
Yeah, and like just getting in a plane over and over.
Well, here's the thing that I was thinking.
They must have had multiple planes.
Do you think?
Right?
And like, I didn't know the part where he passed away
Yeah.
a couple months later.
Yeah.
Like that's sad. But the first thing that I thought was like, this guy. Like, you never think about the people behind the people that get the glory in the Guinness
Right,
Book of
yeah.
World Records. Where like this guy probably hit the ground and then sprinted and was like, "Get that plane running!
Yeah.
Get that plane running!" And was probably like chewing out the pilot for not
Yeah.
getting up to the altitude.
Nah, probably not. I mean, I'm sure it was like all people he was friends with and stuff.
Yeah, but that's how you motivate pilots, Tom. By yelling
Screaming
at them. That's how every commercial flight I go to the
I'd
flight
like to
attendant.
speak to the
like,
pilot, please.
and that's why I had a kid, because then they'll let you in and be
Yeah,
like,
I'd
"Oh,
like
the
to
kid wants to
see,
meet the
yeah.
pilot," and then I'm just gonna be like, "You better land this fucking plane
Yeah,
in
and
St. Louis."
You better get there quickly.
Yeah, I have appointments. I have an agenda to keep.
There are a lot of like records, skydive records that are insane. There's a guy that holds the record for the most accumulated free fall time, 420 hours.
What? Oh, accumulated.
Yeah.
Where the hell did he jump from Venus?
He jumped from the moon. But he did over 30,000 jumps to get that much time.
How many jumps did Tom Cruise do for
Mission Impossible?
yeah.
I don't know, but to like get to Halo jump status, he had to do a lot. Because again, that's like wingsuit style thing of like not anyone can do a Halo jump. It's super expensive to like get a plane that can go up that high. But yeah, you have to have, that's one of those things where you have to have a certain number of regular jumps and then like other types of certifications and jumps.
He trained so much for the
Yeah,
the
I
jump.
think very few people outside the military like ever do a Halo jump.
Right. And then
Just
who's
'cause
the
it's so
mustache
expensive.
guy that's into younger women? Henry Cavill.
He doesn't have a mustache anymore, and I don't know, maybe he's not into younger women anymore.
That's what you told me, because I was like, "Oh, Henry Cavill seems pretty cool," because I watched that Mission Impossible movie, and then
You're
you
like,
were
he
like,
seems pretty cool. He's got a girlfriend in college.
"No," and then you were like, "I will do some research on him," and I was like, "Oh."
No, but since then he's like really pivoted towards leaning into the idea that he's like a super big geek.
Well, because he reads comic books and
No, because he's like really into like PC gaming, and it seems like from what
Civilization.
no, like
Sid Meier's
like-
Civilization,
like
Tom?
World of Warcraft and
okay.
stuff. And then he posted a video recently. He went to Warhammer 30,000, which is stuff that even I'm like, I don't really understand what that is. And he like went there and painted some models with them or something. Not
Yeah.
bikini models, little tiny
Not
like
17-year-old bikini models. No, but he was also in the scene with the Halo jump.
Oh yeah, he
That's what I'm thinking.
pulls Tom Cruise's like thing out, right?
No, he like loses oxygen and Tom Cruise has to save him or something.
But I think he pulls Tom Cruise's out, and then he jumps, and then something happens to him, and Tom Cruise has to save him.
That scene is when you can tell, like, oh, they write these movies on the fly, and like it doesn't really make sense what's going on here. But like, it's cool that he's doing a Halo jump.
Right.
But my thing is, Tom Cruise does this jump. He's trained hundreds of hours for this.
Yeah.
And then Henry Cavill's also in
Just
the
shows
scene.
up at a green screen studio.
Exactly. And like, to me, it's just like same shit when either of them is
Yeah.
on the screen. I'm just like, yeah. It's like, I appreciate Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I appreciate that we're going to like, it's in his will that when he dies on camera, he wants that take to be used.
Is it really?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Why else would he be doing it? He got that when he shattered his leg on the building.
Oh yeah, that shot's in the movie.
Yeah. That's how he's trying to kill himself on film, right? When they do the stunt, when he's like, I'm going to book the Mission Impossible stunt at the Eiffel Tower, that's when you know.
That's when we know.
That's the one that's going to
It is
take
such
him down.
a weird like pivot I'm gonna go from like the hunk, the A-list hunk, of Hollywood, and then I'm gonna age out of that, but I'm still gonna try my damnedest and not age out of that. I'm still gonna make sure my female co-stars are 27. But I'm going to become the guy that does his own crazy stunts. But I'm still like, I don't know, going to put out a movie once every 3 years or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Did they film that space station movie yet?
No, I think COVID, I think, has screwed everything up. But
were they going to film that on the ISS? Because I think that kind of might have gotten screwed up by...
by everything. World events.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're keeping it like somewhat secretive, all that stuff. But I don't think so. I think, or I know at least they had like some kind of deal with like SpaceX or Blue Origin or
Musk
something.
Musk is involved, or Bezos.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure it's like, the studio went to them and they were like, yeah, we'll give you a free flight, because it's good advertising for us.
I don't care if it's filmed in space. Do you care?
I think it'll be cool.
No, but sometimes they're like during an Oscars broadcast or...
they like cut to the space station?
Yeah, or the Super Bowl. They're like, even people on the space station are watching it, and you see them floating around. It's like, cool. I don't... Yeah, all right.
Hey, back to the big game, all right?
Back to the big game. Hey.
I'm here to watch sacks, not nerds.
No, I want to watch... who won Best Editing in a Feature Film. I want to see Billy Crystal doing his monologue.
I mean, I feel like they have moved away from like cutting live to the space station lately, just because people are like, all right. Like,
ever
it
since
used to be
that guy
a crazy thing to be able to
Space
do.
Oddity on the guitar, it's like, all right. That was the peak coolest thing that ever happened. You're never going to top it.
I think it was because in the past, people, and I'm not talking about like crazy past. I'm talking about even when we were younger, it was like, that's crazy. But now it's like, yeah, I bet if you like got a Wi-Fi base station and pointed it just right, you could do that.
Can't you like talk the ISS if you have
on a ham
radio?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why
we
I'm
should
looking
do
at.
that one. Yeah.
I'm gonna get my ham radio license.
We should do that one year.
You were just talking about how unimpressive it is, but you want to get your ham radio license to talk to the astronauts.
Well, I mean, seeing about a broadcast that's watched by like 60 million people is one thing. It's like, yeah, of course, they hooked this up. But them talking right to me?
I don't know.
We should do that one year.
Do you think they... Well, you pick a year and I'll pencil it in.
2024 is going to be the year. Gives us some time to figure it out.
Do you think they like have that open all the time?
Maybe.
Like,
what else are you going to do up there?
Do you think you could like get it so that like right when it's over you could be like, an alien's on board?
Maybe.
Or no, don't do it that way. Go like, make an alien noise and be like, it's me, one of the other astronauts, an alien's on board.
You should research the astronaut names.
It's me, Johnson.
Yeah, there's probably a Johnson
and
up there.
And an alien's on board. Yeah. There's a leak. What if you just transmitted to them just a sound of just psst, and they're like, oh no, there's a leak.
I mean, it'd be coming out of the ham radio speaker.
But maybe they're not. They're probably not sitting in front of the ham radio speaker all the time.
What else
or
are you
maybe
gonna do?
There's a leak in the ham radio
Do they have
speaker.
TV up there? Can you watch like Seinfeld on TBS? It's on Comedy Central now.
They have like slow internet up there. But I don't think they get like TV nowadays because I think.
Well, no, they watch the freaking Super Bowl, the Oscars.
Yeah, but I think it's like they transmit that over the internet, and it's like a low, shitty quality.
I think they're watching.
I don't think all of them can watch.
It's all
like whatever
coming
they
from
want.
space.
Yeah, but it's pointed down at the Earth.
Yeah, but they just shoot it up there also.
No, they can't just shoot it up there also. That's not how it works.
I think it might be how it works.
Tim, did you know? Now, we were both big fans of Felix Baumgartner.
I was a big fan of Felix the cat, Tom.
The guy who
Fritz the cat.
Who the Red Bull people were really cracking yourself up over that. Oh boy. Tim can't breathe. He's laughing so hard at his joke of saying Felix the cat, followed by Fritz the cat.
Talking about
I'll
Felix
just keep talking.
Baumgartner.
Felix Baumgartner, he was the guy that the Red Bull people sent up.
Oh, yeah. He went
And
up to like space and
Yeah.
jumped.
Would you know somebody beat his record?
David Blaine.
No, it wasn't David Blaine. It was just like this I mean, I don't think he's like so random, but it was a Google vice president.
I mean, anybody that does it could be a random guy.
Yeah,
Like, there's no like professional guy that like, oh yeah, maybe David Blaine
yeah.
would be the only guy that I would be like, oh, it's not a random guy doing it. He tries to do stunts all the time.
I think basically this was a case of like somebody who was an engineer. What? Are you still laughing at Fritz the cat?
What was his deal? It was an X-rated cat.
I'm not really sure, Tim. You're the one who finds it so funny. You're gonna have to fill everybody else
Yeah,
in
well.
on who Fritz the cat is. But Felix Baumgartner, he went up in like it kind of looked like an Apollo era capsule that was just lifted up by balloons, and they popped open the door and jumped out. But this guy Alan Eustace, he broke the record. So the record was, man, he broke it by a lot, I would say. Baumgartner jumped from 128,100 feet, and this guy jumped from 135,908 feet.
And he was just a guy, just a Google guy.
He was a Google guy. I think he was like an engineer also. I think he was like very involved in, but also his deal was like he was essentially just in like what looked like a spacesuit and just like had balloons tied to him. And it took 2 hours for him to just like float up and then detonated a small explosion that broke the connection.
Pulled his dick right off.
No, he didn't have it by his dick, Tim. All these people are very careful about making sure they don't get their dicks blown off, burnt off, any of this stuff.
That's smart.
But yeah, it was just like a lot lower key of a event, I guess. So people didn't pay that. A lot of people don't know that somebody broke that Red Bull
Yeah, it
guy's
doesn't
record.
really affect anybody's.
Yeah, I mean that's the
The
thing
Red Bull
too.
thing,
It's
they
like,
tried to make an event and like targeting people like you and me. I don't think
Right.
like most people, if you went up to them, were like, "Hey, remember that Red Bull thing where that guy?" They'd be
Yeah.
like, "What the hell are you talking about? Are you talking about Flug tag?"
But yeah, well, both these guys, I think, they both broke the sound barrier when they were falling because they were falling so fast. But I don't know about Baumgartner, but Alan Eustace said that he didn't really hear the sound barrier break, but people on the ground heard the sonic boom. Which is
Man,
pretty neat.
yeah, I still don't understand how a sonic boom works, but I do know that Fritz the Cat is a comic strip created by Robert Crumb, focused on Fritz, not Felix, a feline
Focus on Fritz the cat.
a feline con artist who frequently went on wild adventures that sometimes involved sexual escapades.
Wow. Well, we'll have to check some of these cartoons out, Tim. The lowest combat jump ever occurred in 1944 at 175 feet, which was due to an altimeter error. A total of 2 aircraft made the mistake. The lowest planned combat jump was 250 feet. The lowest mass tactical jump was 143 feet. I mean, 175 feet is like the top of, I don't know, like
Mount Everest.
No, it's not the. Jesus, were you an idiot? It's not the top of Mount Everest.
I'm trying, Tom.
It's like the top of like a 10-story building, maybe more than 10 stories, maybe like 15-story building.
Right.
But that's a low place to jump from.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of surprised nobody's beaten that record. And also, I feel like, could I jump off like my mom's roof with a parachute and be like, there it is, 10 feet. The lowest skydive ever.
Yeah. At what point?
At what point is it just ridiculous. At what point do we have
You
to
jump
sit-
a kid without
you know
a
what,
parachute.
actually, you know what it is? I think it's jumping from a plane.
That's probably about right. The combat stuff, Tom.
Because I'm starting to think about like basketball players. Like, hey, are they eligible? It's like, well, probably the airplane thing.
I forget what I was going to say. You go.
The combat stuff.
Oh yeah, the combat stuff.
Mhm.
That, I mean, to me, that renders everything, all civilian bullshit of like, hey, my name's Tad and I do 6 jumps a day at
Well, first off, 6 jumps a day, you could be like,
Tempe, Arizona's the number 1 skydiving place.
you
It's
could
like,
be like, I know a guy that does 640 a day.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But like the
and he's
tactical
no longer
stuff, like
with us.
they like, I saw it in a movie. They jump out during like a lightning storm
Yeah.
on top of the Louvre or something.
Are you talking about Mission Impossible?
Yeah,
again?
right. Was that the Louvre that I read?
Yeah, I think it was the Louvre that they landed on. Yeah, I mean, combat jumps there, because then also it's like, well, now when I land, I'm in enemy territory and I've got to immediately probably start shooting people. Maybe start shooting people before I've even landed.
It's like, oh, Tad, you're a real hero in Tempe, Arizona.
But a lot of those like military jumps, they're static line jumps where they're like hooked into the plane itself. So like as soon as they jump, it pulls the cord.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to doing something. I think things have changed.
What would it take to get you to skydive?
Probably just if somebody else paid for it, I'd probably do it. And it's like I looked at like to do it out on Long Island, it's $300.
$300? That's not bad.
Exactly. So then I'm like, all
But that's
I have
like
to do
too
is
cheap.
I don't think it's too cheap.
Like, how are they paying for all the overhead at this point?
I don't think there's that much overhead. I mean, they're having like a bunch of people. Yeah, it's not just you.
I know, but you got a pilot that's making at least $1 million a year.
No, they probably got 10 people on the plane. That's $3,000 right there.
Right.
But
like, I'd like them to upgrade the parachutes once in a while.
Yeah, I'm sure all that gets factored in.
It's like Frontier Airlines, where it's like, well, the jump is $300, but
you only know about this because I told you about this like an hour ago.
what do you mean? I totally knew that Frontier Airlines existed.
No,
because
because I didn't, because I'm taking Frontier next week, and I didn't know that it's insanely cheap. Like a round trip ticket for me to go from New York to Florida was like $70, but apparently you can't bring anything with you.
Exactly, and what I'm saying is this skydiving place going to be like, yeah, okay, you can't bring a parachute up there. That's another $70.
Yeah. Well, and you've been on Ryanair with me, right?
Maybe
from Ireland. Yeah, you have. And that's one of those like just very.
Oh
like,
yeah, it was
you
like
pay for
$3
everything.
to
Yeah.
take that.
They were the
plane.
ones that were trying to get like standing only seats
Yeah.
going. I don't think $300 is too little to pay to go skydiving.
Maybe
That doesn't make me uncomfortable with that. Jumping out of a plane is what makes me uncomfortable about it.
every time I see a movie where somebody's in a military plane, it pisses me off
Why?
because they're always in that big room and they're just sitting against
Yeah,
the wall.
the big cargo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
mhm.
like, why do I have to freaking strap myself in like a freaking loser on a commercial airline? They're like,
when you could be
they're like-
strapped into a
they're
car.
they're like, don't get up, don't walk around. These people are getting up and walking around all they want.
Well, I don't understand what your point is. You want to fly by military cargo plane everywhere?
Ideally, yes.
Because also, like, those planes are, like, very loud.
So is the plane I'm on.
No, the planes you're on are fine. If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgt.com. Yeah, hey, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide. You can get books of podcasts we're reading, the 90s by
Chuck
Klosterman. And hey, we're talking all things 90s. Patreon.com/complete guide. You get the back episodes too. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at Fritz the Cat.
You can follow follow us on Twitter at Complete Guide and on Instagram at TCGTE.
Am I gonna get sued? That's not really my handle, Tom.
I don't know how litigious Fritz the cat is.
I'm your
Tim.
pal, Tim.
Yeah. Oh, well, now they know exactly where to deliver the subpoena to.
Oh my gosh.
Would you ever? What would it take for you to go skydiving?
At this point,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I ever would.
Yeah, because now you got a kid. You got somebody relying on you.
Yeah, and I'm also afraid of
The thing
not.
is,
I'm afraid of like what my own body will do.
yeah,
Not that what like the Earth will do. Like I'm afraid that like
you'll just be like, well, all right, enough is enough. Shutting down.
I'm gonna have a like maybe like an aneurysm, or I'm just gonna pass out.
Yeah.
From the, like.
Well, the thing I read, it says you don't have to worry about free falling creating that, quote, heart attack inducing roller coaster drop feeling. The feeling is actually one similar to floating, and the air resistance creates a degree of support. Free falling is like a human being taking flight. The airflow is constant and allows for aerial maneuvers that are a lot of fun. Well, this sounds like it was written by somebody with a bias, but that's what I've always heard from. I'm sure we're gonna hear from a million people calling us pussies and saying like I've done a million.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, and
Yeah.
like I know objectively it's like safe, but also when you search skydiving facts,
Yeah.
all that comes up are these like local websites for right like hey that's my process. I'm sorry I but
A peek behind the curtain.
and it's always just some janky website
Yeah.
full of like facts that are stolen because like all the facts are the same on every the one from Tempe, the one from Long Island, the one from wherever in
They all
Wyoming.
have facts that are just copy and pasted.
Yeah, it's like what kind of people are running this? Like I'm more concerned about like when I'm
Hey,
afraid of flying, I'm
if-
not afraid of the plane. I'm
Yeah.
afraid of like, oh, does the pilot? Did his marriage just end, and is he gonna like, fly us into the side of a mountain?
Right. And you're
It's human error I'm worried about.
and you think, well, if the ethics of the skydiving website's webmaster
Exactly.
are so low,
Well,
what
the
does that
webmaster
say
is
about?
also the fucking pilot of the plane,
yeah,
Tom.
what-
How big do you think these organizations are?
Yeah. No, from what I've seen, it's like, yeah, they're very like, they're not like fly by night, but yeah, they're like, you know,
Sometimes some do fly at night.
that's true. Some do night jumps. But I think it's just like a very like, it's like any other type of business, like experience-based business, where I do worry about like, even when you go to an amusement park and you've just got like a bored teenager, where the biggest thing I would be worried about. I think it's just like this instructor's been doing this for 15 years. He's bored. He's not paying attention to stuff
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah, and that's like when I went to Hawaii and we did like a helicopter tour. It's like everybody was just like so blasé about it. It's like, yeah, I know you do this every day, and that complacency really makes me nervous. And it's like, Tom, you've seen Wings. You got Brian and you got Joe running Sandpiper Air, right?
And geez, would
And
you
got
trust
Joe,
either of them with your life?
Yeah, exactly. You got Lowell,
Yeah, he's the
fucking
one
fixing
fixing
the
the
plane.
planes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe that engine isn't running so tight.
Yeah. They should reboot that show and they should run a skydiving company, all of them,
And we should be the guys.
on every episode
Yeah.
going skydiving.
No,
It'll
we
like,
should be
we'll
Brian
wear-
and Joe.
We'll wear disguises every week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, so like, who is he going to be this time? It's like, what accent are they going to master?
Yeah, what
Are they French this time? Are they Frenchmen?
offensive accent are they gonna do? Yeah, I don't know. I just always think about whenever I read about skydiving accidents.
Whatever.
I mean, it's not that often, but like, maybe this makes me a bad person, but I just like don't have much sympathy. I'm always like, well, you went skydiving.
Yeah. That's the way I feel
And
about air show disasters.
Yeah, where
just
it's like, well, it is a dangerous thing you're doing.
The whole appeal of this is
Yeah.
like, it's so dangerous, and how
Yeah.
are they going to pull it
It's
off?
like
And it's like, they didn't. And
Yeah.
like, that's why I don't go to air shows, because like,
Right.
I don't want to have to leave in an awkward
It's
kind
like,
of like,
yeah.
"Ugh."
It's like,
am I supposed to cry? Because I probably would be crying.
Yeah, I'm sorry somebody died in this way, but they were aware of the risks. And I don't want to die in that way. I don't want anybody to ever read my obituary and go, oh, he was aware of the risks.
I want to die because somebody was driving on an open street and picked a fight with me, and then I said something smart, and then they shot me.
All right, we'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.